What's going on YouTube? JT's Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And here we are today at the start of DC Infinite Frontier. I recorded my Batman 106 review before recording this one, so you'll kind of probably see them uploaded around the same time, maybe just a little bit of a gap or something like that. But yes, we're going to be talking about Infinite Frontier number 0, the start of the next big new direction for DC Comics. So last time they did this was 5 years ago at the start of DC Rebirth, which was an amazing start, by the way. And then that kind of went to shit once Didio kind of like got his hands back on and just kind of took away all that kind of hopefulness. Doomsday Clock got delayed. They had like basically after Dark Knight's Metal, and it just kind of like DC Comics went down this really dark, miserable turn for a while. But this is kind of a hopeful resurgence. Like, okay, we're after that Year of the Villain. We're after that Dark Knight's Death Metal stuff. Because Death Metal, I don't think was very good. I like Dark Knight's Metal. I didn't like the sequel Death Metal. I thought it just got too messy to the point where it got so confusing where you couldn't really tell what the hell was going on. But this here is just kind of a starting issue point of like, okay, we're going to set the stage for all the different storylines and characters and the new direction for DC. We just had the 2-month break with Future State, which was a teasing of a potential future, which they mentioned at the very beginning of this thing, where the quintessence is talking to Wonder Woman. I'm going to try and skim through this really quickly. I do recommend you should check this thing out. I think this is a really good start. Not as good as DC Rebirth number 1 when they did that, but I do think this is a good start for a new beginning of things and teases of things to come. It's not everything, but you're definitely getting a lot of stuff. So we can zoom in here. We can take a look here. Justice League, written by Brian Michael Bendis, which, I'm not a fan of Bendis and his work at DC, so that doesn't have me too excited. Batman, written by James Tynion IV, art by Jorge Jimenez. Wonder Woman, written by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad. Wonder Girl, written and drawn by Joelle Jones, that's the Yara Flor book. Green Lantern, Alan Scott, by James Tynion IV. Teen Titans Academy, written by Tim Sheridan. Superman, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Green Arrow and Black Canary, written by Joshua Williamson. So that tells us we're going to get a Green Arrow and Black Canary book by Williamson at some point, which, man, that guy is he's just in charge of DC, it feels like now. Like, he's like the go-to guy for DC at this point. Like, he's steering the ship. And, Scott Snyder was kind of that guy steering the ship, like, when it came to Dark Knight's Metal and Death Metal and all that. Now it seems Snyder and that's kind of being pushed away. Bendis's influence is, seems like he's still got Justice League, but his influence on a lot of the characters isn't quite as strong as it was when he came to DC. I don't know. It's Stargirl by Jeff Johns, Green Lanterns written by Jeffrey Thorne, The Flash written by Joshua Williamson, and the Epilogue written by Joshua Williamson. Joshua Williamson wrote a lot of this thing. So with this book, there's kind of a wraparound story involving Diana kind of going, across and just kind of seeing storylines with other characters at DC, the stuff with Batman, Superman, the Spectre's kind of taking her around, making her see things like, okay, you can ascend to us with the quintessence, but Diane, when it gets to the cosmic stuff, I get kind of confused myself, so I'm just going to kind of briefly sum that up when I go through and talk about it. But yeah, so we got that stuff, and these are kind of the new creative teams. They tease other things too. DC's kind of announced a few other books, but there's some creators who I'm still wondering what they're going to be writing. Like, I don't know what Tomasi is going to be doing. I have a feeling he'll probably do the Aquaman book because he doesn't seem to be on any of these other DC books, and he's one of their best writers, and I don't see him on anything. I don't see Dan Jurgens really on anything. I don't see a lot of these other creators writing books, and I'm just kind of wondering what role they're going to have going forward. If I'm putting my money on it, I'm going to say Tomasi will be writing Aquaman because I don't see him on anything else. Or he could be that Robin and Batman book. I say this because, like I said, he's one of my favorite writers at DC, and I don't see him on anything yet, and it has me concerned. But anyway, so as the issue opens up, Dinah's here, and she's like, wow, so this is like right after Dark Knight's Death Metal number 7. We see the quintessence. The manipulations that, Dark Knight's Death Metal, yada yada, crazy cosmic stuff. Wonder Woman's there, and again, they draw her very nicely. Like, she looks very stunning in the artwork here. Possible future. So Dinah's there, like, what was that? And she saw these possible futures, which is, future state and all that. And so she's kind of debating if she's going to stay or not, or go back, and be Wonder Woman in that. But then the Spectre's like, okay, fine, let me be your guide and try and convince you to it's safe to stay with us. Because Diana doesn't want to stay with the quintessence unless she's assured that everyone's going to be safe. So very well together, we move as ghosts witnessing. So it's basically kind of like a Christmas Carol, where you're like the ghost of Christmas past kind of being in present, just kind of being brought through the story and seeing all these different things. And she's debating whether she's going to stay or not. And the truth you feel in your heart will lead us. First, we begin with an old friend. So this is the whole thing. This is the Bendis thing, as you can tell. Shazam. So we see Superman. He comes across something. Black Adam. This is that whole Shazam thing that everyone's talking about. It's a really stupid name. Um, but then we get like this kind of bit of dialogue here. I don't know. I don't know if this is just only 2 pages or they're writing other things. But Bendis also wrote, "Leave it to Kal-El to see potential for good in his enemies, an ability that Batman does not share." Really stupid. Batman does see good in his enemies because that's anyone who ever read Batman knows Batman does see the good in people and he tries to help people. He caters to that. He's not quite as much as Superman, but Batman still has shown instances where he tries to help villains and he sees that there's still good qualities and he never gives up on it. That's why he doesn't kill. That's why he's like, okay, that's why he's like, I'm not going to kill people. I'm not going to maim people because he sees the potential for people to be rehabilitated and helped. So this is a really stupid line. That kind of annoyed me. So that's that story. Then we see this other thing. This is the Tinian one. Something happened at Arkham Asylum. There's been a Joker attack. They see a dead Bane, which I don't know for sure if Bane's dead or not. If this is just flashing forward a few months. Because this is like issue number 0 of Infinite Frontier, and then we're getting to issue number 1. I don't know why they call it 0 when it's the first issue. It's just a numbering thing. But you know what? We'll call it 0. So this guy named Mahoney's there, and you have other things they're teasing, like they see the Batgirls, you see Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown. Barbara Gordon's basically talking about, like, she's talking to Huntress, saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to be staying off to the sidelines mostly. I can jump into the action, maybe once in a while. I'm going to go easy on my spinal implant. And besides, the city's got Cass and Steph on the job as the Batgirls. So I'm waiting for a Batgirls book announcement. It's got to be coming around like June or July. So then we see Tim and Jace Fox, or Tim, aka Jace Fox, or whatever. He's talking there. Grifter comes in there, and he said something's going around at Arkham Asylum. We see Miracado and all that. Batman's there. He's on the case. Then we cut to Themyscira, because again, this is Spectre, and that like the stories kind of jumps around a lot. I kind of wish the Batman story was kind of just in one section, and then we jump into the next, because then I got to remember, okay, I have to go back a few pages. Like, okay, we left off here, then we left off there. And they're trying to see who the next Wonder Woman, leader of the Amazons, all that other stuff's going. And then they are all put through these tests, ends up being Nubia. Then we see stuff with Yara Flora, which they tease over here. This is the Joelle Jones stuff, and Yara Flora is kind of going off on her own little adventure. Very brief stuff. Then we have this story with Alan Scott and the Justice Society of America. This is, again, like James Tynion IV stuff. Now, again, I'm not the most familiar with the Justice Society of America. I'm more of a Batman, Teen Titans kind of guy. But this is stuff with Alan Scott. He's talking to his kids, how he loves them. He comes out to them. And there's that story right there. It's, a nice family moment there. Then this is the next tease. This is the stuff I'll definitely be talking about. So this is the Teen Titans Academy stuff. So they're going off to the island. There are all these different superheroes ready to go off on their own little adventure. I got the other merchandise of this. Okay, so you got this kid right here, just this, and he seems to be getting like the red or the red X stuff. Intertransaction never happened. Got it. Oh, hey, we have the same backpack. Yeah, we all do. So red X seems to be infiltrating. So we got this guy here. This is red X. It looks like kind of infiltrating in disguise, I guess. It's all very film noir, romantic even. So the new characters are coming into play, and they're getting ready for Titans Academy. So again, I'm really excited for Titans Academy. I didn't really care too much for the future state stuff because it felt like they kind of crammed so much stuff into there. But I am kind of hopeful for the direction that we're going to go on with Teen Titans Academy. There's a lot of potential there, and then you see Red X getting ready to jump in. So Red X already knows who they are before jumping in. So whoever the hell that's going to be seems kind of like a kid. I don't know what they're going to do with Red X, but we'll kind of wait and see. I know a lot of people thought Damian, but Damian's off going and doing his own thing. Then we see the stuff with John Kent's as Superman. That is Superman kind of doing this thing. Jonathan Kent is not, Spectre is saying how Jonathan Kent is not Superman and must never be. Talks about this beast that he's fighting right here. And he just kind of, he kind of just shits on John the whole time. And he's kind of thinks he sees bad things in John's future. He sees the makings of a tyrant. So Jonathan Kent is of no place, of no time. Again, nobody likes, pretty much the vast majority of people hate what they've done with John Kent. And even me, I'm like, I just can't see John Kent anymore. I don't recognize this character. He's not the fun-loving character that everybody enjoyed in Superman and, Super Sons and Action Comics when Jurgens was writing it, even in like stories like Deceased or the other Super Sons spin-off books. Like Jonathan Kent, like what made him really special and unique was he was a kid. He was learning from his father. It was an organic process. We saw him grow over time. And then somebody thought the stupid idea of just throwing him off into space with his psychotic dad or grandfather, not, well, his psychotic grandfather who just tried to kill them and, send John off and do all these terrible things like a storyline before. It's like they didn't even read the Oz effect. And for some reason, okay, he's going to come back age 7 years and just kind of erase all the possibilities with all these unique stories and stuff. And I still don't understand the reason. There's no good explanation for aging him up 7 years. Like, if you needed a teenage Superman, you already had like Connor Kent waiting right there. Like you just eliminated years of potential storylines. John can't join the Titans. He can't do anything now because he had to go off and do the Legion of Superhero stuff, which wasn't really good. And so it's just frustrating. I know. I hope the new creative team does well. And again, there's kind of flashes of old moments. Like there's a little Super Sons kind of cameo panel right there, and it just makes me sad knowing what happened to John. Again, he's still showing good signs in there, and Diane is like, see, look at there's John, he's okay. Then we get a Green Arrow and Black Canary stuff, which we haven't had a Green Arrow book since, God, we haven't had the Green Arrow book in a long time. And I really loved Green Arrow Rebirth. I thought Green Arrow Rebirth was really, really good, the Percy run. After that, I kind of lost interest in it because once Percy was off the book, it just like didn't really feel like there was a good like ongoing story. But the Green Arrow Rebirth stuff was really good. Great stuff with Roy. We had great stuff with Ollie. We had great stuff with Dinah. We had great stuff with Emiko. That's what made me a big fan of her character, was that book until when Percy was writing her. And then, after that, her character is just like, I don't even like recognize her character anymore. And it's a shame because she had a good start in Rebirth. And then obviously after that, like when she joined up on the Glass and Thompson Teen Titans run, they just kind of shat all over her character. But we see Ollie there. He's, him and Dinah, of course, there's, they like to hook up at time to time. Roy tries to call him because Roy Harper is back alive, based on the events of Dark Knight's death metal, I believe. I don't know. It's kind of like all over the place. I still don't know exactly where in the timeline death metal was taking place. Was it before? Was it after? Is this after it? I really don't know. It's kind of, like I said, a little bit all over the place. But anyways, Roy's alive. I think he's going to show up in a Green Arrow and Black Canary book that, James Tynion, or no, Joshua Williamson's probably going to be writing that book too. So Joshua Williamson's going to be a very busy guy when it comes to this stuff. He's also got his Future State stuff too. But we also have Stargirl, written by Jeff Johns. Now, I'm not really familiar with Stargirl, but she's got her TV show, and they tease going off on some more adventures, more Batman stuff right here. We see all the different characters. Harley makes a cameo. We see Clown Hunter there. We see even a little bit of Clayface, and we also get some teases here with Nightwing. That is this Damian? Does anybody know for sure? I think this is supposed to be Damian kind of hiding here, but because like they're teasing like the various members of the Bat family and all these different villains and stuff. But punchline there, and that's kind of my theory that I think it's him. So, anyways, Batman's there. They save Mahoney, and we have Simon Saint here who confronts the Scarecrow, which I don't know if I think this takes place after Batman 106 or it might be a little bit before. It's kind of tough to tell where some of the stuff takes place because it doesn't directly like lead into it. Like maybe they're simultaneous or around the same time. We'll find out and get a little more clarity in the future. Then we have the stuff with the Green Lanterns, John Stewart, Simon Baz, and then we have the Teen Lantern. And it's basically them getting ready to go to Oa. It's just very brief, very quick stuff. Then we have the stuff with the Flash here, which, Diane is there. And she is with Spectre. She's looking at Superman of Earth Zero. And Barry Allen is there. He runs into Wally West, and he talks about he's got to go off and kind of do his own things. And he basically gives Wally the mantle of the Flash. He's like, you know what, Wally? This is your chance for redemption, all that other stuff. You've earned it. You're the Flash. You're a good guy. Here you go, Wally. You are finally the Flash. That's right. Wally West is finally the Flash again. I know Wally West fans are very excited. Barry's going to go off and do his own thing, but Wally West should be the Flash in the main book, which is a good thing. And that's pretty much it. Then we also kind of get teases of Spectre, and then they're talking about different things. We get kind of little teases of different stories that are to come. So we have stuff with Slade Wilson there. We have the Aquaman book. We have Booster Gold now. We have Suicide Squad stuff right here. We have a Crush and Lobo book we're supposed to get. Justice League Dark, Titans Academy, the stuff with those people. There's Talia al Ghul, Lex Luthor, Hawkgirl, and stuff. I don't know what book that's going to be, but we got other things. So they try to offer Diana a place there, and she talks about, and she declines their offer. She's like, when Steve, she brings up the story of Steve Trevor. When Steve Trevor washed up on the shores of Themyscira, I could have sent him back to the world of man alone and stay behind with where it was saved my sister. Instead, I traveled with him to an unknown world, leaving behind my home and all the things I knew. It was the scariest thing I ever did, but it was the start of a new chapter in my life, greater than I could have ever dreamed. And now I find myself in a different shores and set sail into the infinite frontier. So there we go. There's the Infinite Frontier cover. This is kind of the big thing. We see all these different characters setting the stage for the next phase of DC Comics. Like I said, we can kind of scroll in here. We see Superman there. We see John Kent. Wonder Woman's kind of leading the charge. Batman's there. Stargirl. We see Roy Harper. We see Red X. We see Raven. We see Hawkgirl. Harley Quinn. Damian's there, and again another outfit. I swear he's got just like 50. He's a fashion icon at this point with his different outfits, but I don't see Tim Drake on this cover, which is interesting. I wonder if he'll, unless he's Red X, but again, because Tim's kind of disappeared, it seemed like, but I doubt that's going to be him. It'll probably be just an original character or something. So then we get the epilogue where the quintessence kind of goes to this other planet. They're like, Wonder Woman's seen. If Wonder Woman came to this scene, there's no issue whatsoever. Or they go to Earth Omega, which they're going to be using as we're talking about as a prison planet. And basically, the quintessence all get killed by an unseen force who says that they're now more powerful than ever. And it is Darkseid. Yes, Darkseid is setting the stage to become the big menacing baddie that he's deserved to be. The Batman Laughs is gone. Dr. Manhattan's gone out of the way. Perpetua's out of the way. And now it's time for Darkseid to lay claim and become the total badass main villain that he was destined to be. Like, Darkseid's going to be back at the top of the food chain. Now he's stronger than ever. And I couldn't be more thrilled because I love Darkseid. Darkseid is one of my favorite DC comic book villains, and I'm excited to see what he has up his sleeve. So, and that in a nutshell is Infinite Frontier. And again, they tease things coming out here. So Superman, Woman of Tomorrow, that's one of the big announcements. Tom King's going to be working on that. Not sure how I feel about that. Robin #1, they say, is in May, but that's really still going to be in April. And then we got all these other titles kind of coming up. So that's the Infinite Frontier. Oh, sorry, Wi-Fi. I'm shut off on that. So yes, that was DC Infinite Frontier. Overall, I thought this was a really good, solid issue. Again, this is a really big issue. I even bought the physical copies, which I'll be picking up tomorrow of this and the Batman book because, for certain issues that I really am like excited about, I want to have physical copies too because I've primarily been sticking with digital. But since I get those on Wednesday and I already got like digital copies on Tuesday for a lot of stuff, so I'm excited to like check those out and read them like that. But all things considered, I really did enjoy Infinite Frontier #0. I don't think it's as strong as the first issue of DC Rebirth, like that Rebirth special that Jeff Johns wrote a while back. I think that moment between Barry and Wally is just that reunion. There's a lot more emotion I felt in that than kind of anything in this. But this is the start of a nice, hopeful, more optimistic direction for DC. DC went really kind of dark and angsty for a while, just made their stories kind of miserable. There's still some issues I kind of have. For instance, I still don't like what they've done with Jonathan Kent. I was really hoping they kind of fix that mess that they aged him down, but they're not going to. They're just like, look, we're kind of stuck with this type of John. Sorry, if you're a fan of this character, you're just going to have to deal with it. And that, to me, is just very unfortunate. So we're just going to have to be stuck with that for a little while. So, just deal with it, I guess. But yeah, all things considered, I did enjoy Infinite Frontier #0. I thought it's a solid restart for the next phase of the DC universe. I'm looking forward to picking up a lot of these books. Obviously, I'm going to be picking up all the Batman stuff, Teen Titans Academy. I may read some other stuff too. I may check out the Superman stuff. I don't really read Flash too much or Green Lantern, but I may go back and reread the Joshua Williams stuff. I started reading Flash and I didn't finish it, so I might have to go back and check out that stuff. But if there's a Green Arrow and Black Canary stuff, I'm going to definitely be picking that up. So maybe I'm more one of those people who kind of likes the more grounded stories. So we'll see what happens. I am looking forward to this stuff. And yeah, those are my thoughts on Infinite Frontier #0. Again, just kind of a brief summary. There's a lot to unpack in this book, so I highly recommend checking it out. I know I just kind of went through and covered the whole thing, But if you're curious to check it out, I say it's worth it. So, anyways, that's all I have to say. What are your thoughts on Infinite Frontier number 0? Are you excited and optimistic about the next phase of DC Comics? Or are you still kind of iffy and on the fence? You just gotta have to wait to see more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit that bell for notifications, and yeah, leave a comment down below. We'll chat about this thing some more. And with that said, thank you all so much for watching this. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.